In today's podcast, we're going to talk about the holidays. Do you enjoy them? Are they crazy? Are they full of stress and frustration? Well, we want to really equip you on creating the holiday season with your family that you want and how to leave that legacy for generations.
Welcome to the Art of Raising Humans.
Hello and welcome to episode 56 of The Art of Raising Humans. I'm Kyle.
And I'm Sarah.
And today, hopefully you hear a difference in our voices. You know, starting last podcast, we bought some new microphones.
We did. Yay!
Yeah, so we're excited because we didn't necessarily like how the sound was in the other one. So it is a different type of way in which we're recording. We're still not in the space we want. We're still in the master closet recording these episodes. Now we're sitting side by side because we just have one mic hooked up, right? And we eventually want to get two. And so just to let our audience know, our goal is eventually get video going, have a space, some soundproofing to where we can have the best sound quality possible, and also have some cool visuals. You could see us on YouTube. That'd be fun, right?
Yeah.
So people can see us doing the podcast and just hopefully create more reach, for the podcast.
Yeah.
So we'd really ask you to continue. We love it when you guys share the podcast, tell people about it. I mean, the numbers continue to grow all the time, and we really just want to be a resource to help families become the parents, particularly become the parents they want to be, right?
Yeah.
And really
we're walking it out, and we're excited to walk it out with other people.
And we really want to just equip parents, with this different way of thinking of it, of just who am I right now? Who am I as the parent? And how do I become the parent I want to be instead of just trying to fix the kid or fix that issue,
Right.
So really the whole point of it. So please share the podcast, spread the word, put comments that are hopefully really positive and helpful and rate it. All those things are really, really helpful. And we appreciate your feedback. And we'd love for you to give more feedback to us. But so I hope the sound is great and I hope you're enjoying the podcast. Today, we want to talk about the holidays, because this should be dropping, Sarah, like the Monday before Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so when I was thinking about what to talk about, because I feel like it's kind of a unique day before the whole holiday season starts to hit us, is all the work you and I have done personally to try to, see the holidays differently. Because I think initially what I hear from a lot of families, and I think how we approached it was you almost feel like, I hate to use the word victim, but almost feel like you're helpless, to the patterns that families get into around the holidays, There's a lot of joy, a lot of fun around them, right? But there's also a lot of pressure, to go places, be places, do things, have the kids act a certain way. You're creating, you're really messing up your normal rhythms, There's a lot of sugar. There's a lot of great.
Yeah.
And so there can be a lot of joy, but a lot of frustration,
Yeah.
So I wanted this podcast to kind of help equip parents to kind of say, what do you want the holidays to be like? And you get to decide that. It's not something that just happens to you.
Right.
I'm even thinking, like, I remember initially when we first got married and we didn't have to, but we chose to go visit each other's families for the holidays, and yours and my families just did the holidays different, like growing up, what were the holidays like for you?
They were a lot of fun. It was big, long family time, food, games, just sort of an all-day event. Loved it.
And you guys would spend all day, like you're talking like as soon as you wake up into the night, right?
Yes.
And then also Christmas was a blast, right? I know Thanksgiving's right on the corner, but Christmas you had a lot of fun doing what?
Yeah, lots of extended family. I just would say family time. We would just sit around playing games for hours and eating and talking, and football games were on, and it was just a lot of big family time.
Yeah, and I remember in our family time, Thanksgiving was typically really great. We didn't have extended family around, so it was just my immediate family. But lots of times my parents were great about letting friends come over. When I was in college in particular, people from the wing, our college wing on our dorm, they'd come over and my mom would feed 20, 30 people, It was a fantastic time. Christmas was also fun, but it was a little different. You and I had different experiences in that. I remember Christmas was fun, but it was stressful because money was tight for us. I know money was tight for you too.
Right, yeah.
But
it wasn't about the presents.
For us, we did want certain presents. And there was a stress about the inability to buy those presents or get the presents we wanted. Decorating was not fun for us. Typically, the way decorating happened was somebody in the family would say something about putting up a tree, and then they'd be like, "That's what we're doing today. Let's get the tree down." And it was like, "What? I have other plans today. I don't want to do this." And so I remember when we first got married, we felt that tension about the holidays because you'd be like, "Let's put the tree up," and I'd be like, "What? Oh my gosh!"
Yes. Thanksgiving was yesterday. It's time for the tree.
And I'd be like, "Can we put that off a few more weeks? I don't want to do all that."
Yeah, no, I was shocked. Like, what? You don't enjoy this?
I know, and it was fun to see you so excited, but I just felt tired, and I just wanted to take a nap.
I remember you would sit on the couch. I decorated the tree.
That's right.
And you, to this day, you don't do a whole lot of tree stuff. Scars.
It was, and it's because I do get tired because it was typically on a Saturday, and then my dad or mom would get inspired. We'd have to get the tree down from the attic, and it was a whole day ordeal that I had not planned on. I was not prepared for. I typically was wanting to play some video games that day or go, so it was very much like, it was just such a hindrance to what I wanted to do. And so it is fun to watch you get so excited about it. But another thing we noticed was because we do things different. My family doesn't have these all day things. So my family typically, when we got together for Christmas or something, or even Thanksgiving, it was like a 2 to 3 hour thing, and then we go on and do other stuff on our own with our families, right? Whereas I'd go to your house and you wanted to spend all day there. And I was like, how?
You were bewildered.
When are we leaving? Why are we here all day? And it was just so good. So there was
very different expectations.
There was that tension. But then always, anytime you're with family, there is you notice things about your family that you love and things that are frustrating. And so initially there was, even going from my family or your family, there would be those normal talks that I think every listener can relate to, that we would leave that time and they'd be like, what's going on with that person? Or why are they doing that? Or why do they keep doing that? Or I'm kind of frustrated they keep saying that,
Yeah.
And there would be those kind of conversations. And I remember before we ever had kids, this is where this started. We thought, wait a second, we don't want our kids doing this to us.
Right. It's just not helpful, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we thought, if we're leaving Thanksgiving or Christmas and then we're spending...
And we got a laundry list we're going through?
Yes, we're going through all these things that we're critiquing or being critical about. Yeah. And lots of it's because we're also middle kids. So they'd be like, we feel kind of helpless to change things because it's always kind of the older siblings get more say. So it was always like we would slip into that middle kid role of why is it got to be this way? Why can't we just change it this way? Oh, yeah, we feel
Nobody's listening to me.
Yes, exactly. So it'd be all these complaints and we would commiserate with each other. But we started picturing, what if our kids were in the back seat listening to all of this talk?
Yeah.
Eventually, we're going to raise kids who think that's what the holidays is about. It's about what it isn't. It's about how it's not good enough.
Right.
It's about how I wish family would do it differently or change differently. It's like this sense of helplessness to I'm just a victim to this whole thing. And I have to go do this. You have to go to that family. You have to do this or say that, or, and it really was disempowering. And we just thought, we want to raise kids who leave thinking about what it was.
Yeah.
And left with gratitude.
Yeah, that's the word that came to my mind too, is I'm going to choose what I make of this moment. I can sit here thinking, oh, well, I didn't like this and I didn't like that and I didn't. Or I could go, wow, I love this moment and I love that moment. And we know we've talked about this before. What you focus on, you get more of. What do I want to focus on? Do I want to focus on my happy feelings and the moments I love and just be filled with gratitude for this moment or not? I get to choose.
Well, then I like that quote. I also like what I offer to others as a gift to myself, right?
Yeah.
And so if I'm going, I remember what you and I tried to do. Once again, it's before we had kids, but it was us intentionally trying to change the intent that we had going to the holidays. And so we both decided, hey, instead of being upset about what it isn't, let's pick one or two of our family members and just go love on them. And just spend that time. The whole intent is to just love that family member. And then whenever we would leave, I actually really enjoyed my time, whether it was at my family's or your family's. And we come home and be like, the whole conversation was how good those conversations went, because the intent was to grow something good rather than be upset about something bad that I didn't like, right?
Because there was tons of good.
Yes,
and we could just focus on those little nitpicky things that were irritating us or not. And we just decided that's not what we want to do. That's not going to be a lot of fun for us.
Yeah. So I want to hit that point. What we realized before we had kids, so I'm glad we started then, is we are always modeling to our kids what we want the holidays to look like.
Yeah.
They're looking to us. They're taking their cues from us. Is this going to be a time of stress? Is this going to be a time of joy? Is this going to be a time of gratitude? Is this going to be a time of judgment and frustration, right? Are we just a victim to this time period? Or is it something I always have the power to change and create, And that's, I want to, once I realize that, then I go, okay, how do I want the holidays to look? What do I want to grow? What do I want us as a family to have intent going into this time? So we then started thinking, and I'd love every listener to do this, is just to notice that. How are you approaching the holidays with your kids? Do they feel like this is a time that they're choosing to enjoy? Is it a time that they have to enjoy? They have to are they just being dragged along, And then the culmination is they finally get gifts, so it's all worth it, on Christmas. Or is it something they're co-creating with you?
Yeah. Yeah, that was something I really, when we think about our family legacies or something, I really give a lot of credit to my mom, who we didn't have a lot of money, and sometimes things we were struggling, and my mom would come alongside us and really create those. It was beautiful and wonderful and exciting and warm and loving, and I really credit her with kind of handing down that legacy of shaping the holidays, regardless of there's going to be challenges. It could be a family member, it could be a circumstance, and there's going to be challenges, and you actually have the power. You're not victim to all those things, but you actually have some power there to step in and affect that moment and create that moment. And I just appreciate her, handing down that legacy, and then the ability to then look at our family and go, how do we want to shape the holidays? What are my expectations on the holidays? I think that's a big part. What am I thinking is going to happen? How realistic is that? How can I impact or even move in that direction if that's the direction I want to go? We wanted to have really fun conversations and love on our family.
Yeah.
So we intentionally move in that direction.
Yeah.
And so I think part of it is just thinking, how do I want to move?
I love it. Yeah.
In what direction do I want, and how can we as a family create that? We can go into that space, and not that you can just make it what you want. You're not in control of everything, but you can impact it.
Yeah. Well, I like that. I'm thinking of that quote, be the change you want to see in the world. So like you're saying, the whole reason why there was frustration about how the holidays were was because there's a better way we wanted it to be. And so, but what we were doing, leaving and just griping about it and complaining about it, was we were saying, oh, it can't be that way. Look how it isn't that way. Instead of listening to that thing and going, well, how would I rather it be? And was I participating in making it what it has been? Or how am I participating on making it something better? And I think, especially with the holidays, it can be frustrating because you want it to change like that real quick. But it really is, you're looking at the longer legacy. You may never completely change the way your family has always done it, right? And maybe that's not the point. The point is for you to start adding some more healthy components that you want to be a part of it, or just even other components, not even healthy or unhealthy, but other components that you want your kids to value and see, right? Yeah. And that's the legacy, Just
kind of how are you going to show up?
Yeah. That's good. Well, and then I like how you said your mom changing that story, right? So I was thinking the holidays are such a great way to reflect and say, it's a great opportunity to work on the stories we are believing about family. Work on the legacies that we are leaving our kids. I think Thanksgiving and Christmas in particular are really great opportunities to say, what do our kids, like for instance, you want our kids, this is a good example, you want them when it's time to decorate for Christmas, and by the way, you're doing a great job of this, you want them to be excited. When you say, hey, it's time to put the tree up, all the kids go, yay, right? So none of the kids at this point are going, oh my gosh, like how I felt at times, Yeah. And so it's cool how I'm watching them feed off of your enthusiasm, and I'm not sitting back. I'm not a curmudgeon. I do make some curmudgeon jokes, especially when you try to play Christmas all year round.
I take like June.
Okay,
May.
yeah, sure. So when you try to do that, I do make some comments about that, but I realize that is more what I'd rather them have. I don't want them to be all grumpy during Christmas, you know.
Right.
So I love that you're giving, but that's how we are. It's not that my parents did something bad or that kind of stuff. It's just, I'd rather it look like this. And then I'm going, cool, Sarah, you take the lead on that. I'm going to try to grow and change throughout the years. I may never reach your enthusiasm, right? Because I don't have the same experience in my body as you do, right? But the kids will, and the kids will have that experience, you know? So if there are, listeners, you think about what are the stories that you wish you could pass on to your kids about the holidays? What are the legacies you would like to become when they're someday adults talking about that? Is it the same old stuff you're complaining about, or is it something new and fresh that you're growing in that family? Are you like, I would even love to, I remember something particular that we did with the kids of just when we went to my family or your family, there's specific skills we wanted them to have, right?
Right.
We wanted to practice self-control. The ability to wait and watch other people open gifts, right? And to not be thinking about when's my next gift. I'm going to wait and enjoy that gift. And we would have these talks with the kids on the way to Christmas. The second one was gratitude. We would tell the kids, no one owes you a gift. Okay. No one has to buy you a gift. And even if you open a gift and that gift is not something you like or want, you don't have to fake it. Like, you don't have to fake it. What we want you to do is realize that gift is about saying, I love you.
Yeah. So it's not about that particular
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
It is about, wow, somebody loved me. Somebody went out and got this and they didn't need to or have to, but they cared enough to do this for me. And even if that's what I'm grateful for, that's bigger than the present, whatever it is, whether you like it or not. Somebody caring and going through that effort for you is what you're thankful
so even
for.
then, that we didn't want our kids faking it and being like, oh, this is so great. But I don't think you have to fake gratitude that somebody thought of
Cared
you,
about
right?
you,
Yeah.
right.
So whenever what the gift is, even if it's the best gift in the world or the worst gift, they thought about you. And so go give them a hug or say thank you or whatever you're wanting to do in that moment. So there was self-control, there was gratitude, there was also this ability to like not just gorge on your gifts, but like take your gifts, go around, talk to the family. This is a limited time. We don't get to see all them like this. So even though the gifts are fun, let's also focus on talking to them and then we would model
We're
that.
there for the people.
Yes, we're there for them. They are the gift, So a lot of those discussions happen beforehand because that's stuff we intentionally want our kids to have in their bodily experience about the holiday.
I think it's thinking about that bigger picture. What do we want to happen in this moment? We talked about what do I wish this moment was for, but I think we need to be very aware of our expectations. Most of our frustrations, most of our upset feelings are going to be because I had an expectation and then that didn't come. My child wasn't grateful, or my child threw a bunch of tantrums, or they just sat on the couch on their phone the whole time. Think about that ahead of time and have those conversations with your children. Have the conversation with each other. What's this going to look like? How are we going to shape this moment? And just know going in so you can be prepared for that. So you can start intentionally, not just when you're in the moment. Hey, get off your phone. Try to do that ahead of time. Can't always, but as much as you can, to prepare and have those conversations and model that with your kids.
Yeah, I love that you said that because I think that is, besides the whole family drama that tends to go on where people maybe don't look forward to some of the things around Thanksgiving or Christmas.
Some dynamics,
within your own family, with your own kids, a lot of the frustration is, and I want, as listeners are hearing this, think of all those things that you get frustrated. You say, every year this happens, or every year we do. It doesn't need to happen every year, So what you're suggesting, Sarah, is knowing those expectations in advance and then setting your kids up and setting yourself up for success, right? Yeah. Setting yourself up. I like, that's why we had those conversations, because I remember as a kid being frustrated in myself and in my siblings, how much we just, I couldn't wait till my gift, and I'd be annoyed at every gift my brother and sister was opening up. So I knew that about myself, and I didn't want that story to continue. I wanted my kids to know this. And I also remember that tension, I'm sure every listener can relate to this, that tension of getting a gift you didn't really like, and then faking that gratitude on your face. And so it's like, I don't want that. And I don't want to just spread that, because that goes back to the codependent conversation we had in the last podcast is like, am I faking it so that person thinks I actually like the gift? No, the point isn't the gift. The point is that they gave me something because they care about me, right? So I'm thankful for that. So I love that. I'm thinking also what I like is a tradition that we didn't do as kids that we adopted was having breakfast in the morning before we open gifts.
Yeah.
Because for us, opening gifts was the main dish. And we had talked as a couple of, well, I actually don't want that to be the main dish. I want it to be like, this is a special time. For us, faith is important. So we want faith to be a big part of that morning, but it's also just family and us slowing down. If we don't get to the gifts till 10 o'clock, that's fine.
Yeah.
And what's neat about it, and listeners, we're being honest with you, the kids are okay with it. They actually, they want the gifts, but it has surprised me because I would get up at 6 a.m. and be like, gifts. And I but I didn't want that for the kids. I didn't want the you hear all these classic stories of parents being upset because the kids are, waking them up real early and they can't get in. And then you got the teenager who's sleeping in and everyone's upset at the teenager. Right? I just want us all to be able to wake up, have a great night's sleep, have a really great breakfast, which is also going to put them in a better mood. And you make a great breakfast too. But then let's get into the gifts around 9 or 10 o'clock. And the kids know that's the expectation.
Yeah. It's kind of what I grew up with. So I didn't grow up with the wake up early and tear the presents open.
Yeah.
But it was something that as I got older and I learned how other people did it, I was just really grateful for that.
Well, and something else that we did that you and I decided to do, neither one of our families did this, was a Christmas Eve tradition. So the Christmas Eve tradition, we love the Christmas Eve services. And so once again, faith is an element of that for us. But I didn't want to keep doing our church every Christmas Eve. You and I both have traveled the world and we've seen other ways faith is done. And so we thought it was really exciting to go visit other churches on Christmas Eve, and go see how other people did the faith that we have in different ways, and that's been a beautiful thing the kids love to do. They're always excited about what new church we're going to visit in Tulsa, because there's a lot of churches in Tulsa, and go visit a new way of exploring this holiday, at that particular church. And then we go out to eat, and then we open up, a gift for pajamas.
Yeah, look at lights. And
Yeah.
I think it was, and whatever this looks like for listeners, it was a way of Christmas can easily become about the gifts and materialism. I think we all know that, but Christmas gives us an opportunity to focus on other people, to give to other people, to notice the beauty and in a moment and in a season. It's just different than any other holiday in that way. This one really highlights that opportunity, and so it was a way to Christmas morning definitely involves presents, and it was just a way to easily put some focus on other areas.
Yeah.
Because presents is Christmas morning, so now let's do that, and that was important to us.
Yeah.
And I think for listeners, you can just think about what's important to us for our family, and let's create that.
Yeah, and so if you've never done that as a couple, if you're married and a couple, ever sat down and talk, what are the important things I want to keep, from Thanksgiving and Christmas? What are some things I'd like to do differently, And I don't know, maybe lots of you have had those conversations. I think a lot of couples have not had those. But we hope in this conversation, you're feeling the freedom to no longer just be sucked into the holiday season. You don't have to be sucked into materialism. You don't have to be sucked into all the drama in the family. Like you and your spouse, or you as a single parent, you and your kids get to decide what this time is about. You get to co-create the holidays. And the importance of that is to rewrite some of these stories that you wish were different. You get to change these legacies that have been left for you, and also pass on the ones that you really want to keep and that were beautiful,
And I think the nice part about that intentionality is there's some practical things of, let's make sure they're not too tired and not hungry, and we're eating a lot of sugar and we're staying up late and our schedule's out the window, and we're rushing around trying to capture every Christmas moment we can. And with that intentionality, you can choose, okay, let's set this aside. The kids are going to be really tired, so let's be intentional about shaping this moment this way. And it just lays it all out, and you can release the pressure to maybe do everything. You're not making the perfect magical holiday.
Yeah.
You're just, what is this going to look like for us, and let's create that.
Yeah. So I love what you're saying there. Have some grace in those moments, but also set those expectations and then give the support needed. So I guess that's two things I would say with this holiday is just think about with your kids, how do we want to co-create these things? And sit down and talk to them. What's things that they've really enjoyed about the holiday? What's some things that they wish we all did different? And the more involved they are in that process, the more committed they are to that overall vision. But then next, set the expectations about the skills you're wanting to teach them throughout the holidays, the things you're wanting to pass on. Really let them know that. Be clear about that so they understand how to be successful in these moments, because there is a lot of change, a lot of craziness, a lot of sugar, a lot of just excitement and boredom and so on and so forth. A lot of travel, everything. So first of all, we want to say happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
I hope you and your family have a fantastic time. Yeah. I hope this time with your kids is a time filled with gratitude, that you get to look at their sweet little faces, because I'm sure they all have sweet little faces, and you just really, even for a moment, even in all the busyness, you get to, for a moment, just remind yourself of the gratitude of being their parents and the fact that they're yours, which is so great. And that these families, no matter how dysfunctional or functional they are yours as well. And I hope you feel empowered then to create a new holiday season that is something that you wanted, you and your spouse want for your kids. And it's going to be cool because then hopefully someday, 20 years from now, your kids are having holiday seasons coming from your house and they're not complaining or griping about it. But they're saying all the ways they got to love on you and be with you and how grateful they are for that time. So I hope this holiday season, starting with Thanksgiving, is going to be kicked off with a lot of joy and a lot of gratitude, and we just wish you a fantastic Thanksgiving.
Thanks for listening.
The Art of Raising Humans podcast should not be considered or used as counseling, but for educational purposes only.